We'll see. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, we got about a 5-minute warning here. 5-minute warning. We'll get started here. Just have your seat. And man, I feel safe here tonight. Don't y'all? All right. All right.
How are you doing? Good to see you.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. How about let's move this over here? And this Good evening, everybody. If you could find a place to sit down. We got a lot of folks here tonight. A lot of good information coming up tonight. So, how many were thinking about not coming because of the weather? You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there in TV land here that didn't come tonight because of all the weather forecasts. And that's great to be informed and be looking at it. But man, it turned out great. It was a beautiful day today. Sunshine and got a little bit of rain this morning. So welcome everybody for coming on out tonight. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll get started with the pledge. And I just wanted to let you know we did have a scout troop scheduled. Don't y'all love the scouts coming in and posting of the colors? Well, we had one lined up and unfortunately they had to cancel tonight. But we will take care of that next time. All right? All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Great. Thank you very much. Take your seats. All right, we got a good agenda here tonight. We got WellMed, we got our SAFE unit that's here. We got a really good presentation here from Clayton. It's Clayton number 2, or maybe he's Clayton number 1. But anyway, here, and Gina, thanks for being here tonight as well, on some of the work that's going on around us with TxDOT. And then Rozzy is here. He's going to be talking about our bond coming up. And we'll continue to talk about that until May, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. What's our first item here? Is there anything that I need to talk? I got remarks at the end here, but let's go ahead and get started here. WellMed, Barry. All right, come on up. Come on up. Now, if any of you are, we don't have any old people in here, right? No. Yeah, I don't believe it either, but he might have some good information for you about WellMed and what they provide. So, Barry, thank you very much. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for having us out here, District 10. We appreciate your time. We look forward to us to be out here and talk to this group. It's really great. WellMed, as you know, we're all over the city. We have 36 locations. In San Antonio, we service about 90,000 patients. So we're doing a great job for our Medicare eligibles. I know a lot of you aren't Medicare eligible yet. Just kidding. But anyway, no, we have a lot of information, a lot of free stuff back there also. We have a door prize that we're going to do. There's a lot of free information at our table. All of our services are complimentary to the community. So we have senior centers that we offer to the community also. All you have to do is be 60 years of age and older, and you get in there for free. Some of you have gone there before to some of the senior centers. We work with the city of San Antonio, COSA, and they're a great help to us, of course, with the food distribution and things we do at our senior centers. Last year, we fed over 500,000 people, because when COVID hit, a lot of things shut down, and we were doing groceries by drive-by. People were driving by and picking up their groceries, and so we wanted to make sure the whole community was affected by making sure they had nutrition and they were getting the food and everything they deserve. And so we appreciate that. I'm going to have another lady come up here and talk a little bit about United Healthcare and all those services, Regina Silva, right over here, and she can talk about those things. Come on up, Regina.
Hello, everybody. I just want to give a big thank you to you all for having us here today. I also want to give a big thank you to all our veterans who have served our country. And I do want to do a moment of silence for Ukraine. I think it's important that we respect our soldiers that are over there fighting very hard. It's very disheartening of what's taking place. I'm not here to get everybody down about it, but it is something that is going on right now. Also, I want to honor our law enforcement here. I back the blue. I support you all, so thank you so much for being here as well. I'm going to be doing a moment of silence just for a few seconds here. Thank you. I'm with United Healthcare. My name is Regina Silva. I have over 15 years of Medicare experience. I'm here tonight, and as well as my team, we are here to help represent and let you know about our plans. I know you probably get hounded left and right about Medicare. I'm sure everybody's been bothering you left and right. That's not what we're here tonight for. We're here to educate you all and let you know of all of our wonderful plans that we do have. We do have different types of plans. We have plans for our military, our veterans, and our TRICARE for Life clients. We are a military city. Our plans have no cost to them. If anything, we offer extras and enhance those benefits that you are not getting with original Medicare and TRICARE for Life, or even the VA for that matter. Please know we are here to help you. Many of our plans are a zero premium. They have no medical deductibles, and we also offer vision, hearing, dental, transportation, over-the-counter items, and we also even offer a Part B as in boy buyback. I'm sure you've seen the Joe Namath on TV. That is not me. I respect Joe Namath, but that is not me. But we do offer very good plans here in the San Antonio area, both HMO and PPO plans, different types of plans. Definitely please stop by in the back here. I've got my lovely team of agents back here. I'm a local agency here, and I have a local office here in the Castle Hills area, and you are in the finest, best hands with all of my agents here. I just want to tell you thank you so much, and please stop by, and thank you so much for having us here tonight.
I like those short and sweet. And what she was talking about, if you look in the back of the room, I'm sure you've all seen it, is the all the literature and information back there, so please go back there and visit them after the meeting tonight. Next is something near and dear to all of our hearts here, and I don't see Bud. There's Bud. Come on around here, Bud. You got to see this also. Got a good SAPD cap on, so
What did I do?
absolutely.
I was home with my wife.
All right. Well, Sergeant Bender, come on up to the front here, and I hope the rest of the team comes up here also. I know they're shy all the time, but I'd like to get y'all on display up
Who's
here.
protecting the city?
Yes.
We got plenty of folks for that
Come on up here and take the mic. Your show.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sergeant Bender, and this is Sergeant Jackson. We are the supervisors for the North Safe Unit. Hopefully you all know your SAFE officer and know what SAFE does, but we've had some new faces added to the team, so we brought the whole clan out here so that you can get to meet everybody and tell you a little bit about what we do. Perhaps there's some aspects that you're not familiar with, so buckle up.
Yep.
Hey everyone, Officer Krutzer.
You got to get up to the
Oh,
mic.
okay.
You got to be on TV here.
Can y'all hear me? Officer Krutzer with San Antonio Police Department. I've been with SAFE for a couple months. I'm brand new to the unit, trying to fill in some big shoes. I'm thankful to be here and happy to be a part of this wonderful team that I am with now. So, as we talk about SAFE, right, and what we do, does anybody know what SAFE stands for?
San Antonio for a fear-free environment.
Say it again, sir.
San Antonio for a fear-free environment.
All right, there we go. All right, so San Antonio Fear-Free Environment. This one's going to be a little bit short and quick, but what I'm going to have next is Officer Grant. He's going to talk to you a little bit about the facts of SAFE.
How do you put up with Bender?
That might be one of the facts.
I was trying to get us in trouble pretty early here. Like you said,
Speak a little bit closer to the mic for those in the back.
like you said, my name is Officer Richard Grant. I've been on the department for 16 years. I've been with SAFE since 2018, I believe. My area is the Madison High School area. That's pretty much like to name a few: Northern Hills, Longs Creek, Rose Meadow, and Knoll Creek. I'm here to talk to you about SAFE facts. Every substation, we have 6 substations. Every substation has a SAFE unit. Each sub has about 16 to 22 officers in that unit. Any need that you might have, we have the flexibility to change our hours to address anything that goes on in your area or your neighborhood. San Antonio Fear-Free Environment, the central core of SAP's community policing activities, is the SAFE unit. First established in 1994 with 60 officers and supervisors, then enlarged in 1996 with additional 40 officers. The SAFE unit consists of officers who focus on identifying, evaluating, and resolving community crime problems with the cooperation and participation of community residents. We can't do anything without you guys' help. That's what makes our unit special. I'll pass it off to Officer Sampson.
How's it going, guys? My name is Officer Sampson. Coming up on the North Safe Unit about a year now. Not quite there, about 2 months off. I actually shouldn't have any of y'all. I'm about 410. I'm at 410 south of like where Blanco is, Jackson Keller, a little further down. But we still try to help out with the whole unit. So whenever you guys have problems, if someone's out of town or we got to fill it in, I could still end up here. So I'm going to kind of fill you guys in on what SAFE does, all right? So obviously community policing and engagement. We're right here right now. We'll come out, we'll talk to you all. Any other presentations that people are asking us for. Problem solving seems kind of obvious, but a lot of patrolmen come out and they're tied to a radio or they have multiple calls coming out in an area. On the SAFE unit, we're granted the ability to sit around, figure out an actual solution to a problem instead of trying to put a Band-Aid on it sometimes. Some things take a little bit more time. We try to help come up with that solution so whatever issue you're dealing with, you don't have to continue calling the police. Crime prevention, again, seems obvious, but we can actually see data mapping of where crime's occurring. And if it's something consistent, we can start coming up with an op plan to get out there and get ahead of it instead of reacting to it. School and youth programs, this is going to get covered a little bit more here in just a minute. But That's one of those things that's pretty important to us, near and dear to our heart. Some of those kids, their first interaction with police officers isn't always positive. That gives us the ability to get to them and show a more positive light to what we do. And then work with various SAPD units. That's going to get covered again also here in a minute. But we do work with all of our follow-up units, homicide, vice, property crimes. And if they need help with stops or detentions, we try to assist them with that. All right? I'm going to pass it off to Mr. Bass here.
Hello, I'm Officer Bass, San Antonio Police. I've been with the SAFE unit for going on, I think it's about 8 years. It's been a great experience working with the community. I've been able to move areas around a little bit just to get to meet different people, work in different districts and different neighborhoods. Currently, my community is, my east-west boundaries would be from Jones-Maltsberger to Wetmore, and then from Wurzbach Parkway all the way up to Bulverde, all the neighborhoods and businesses that encompass that area. Speaking of businesses, we try to maintain a really strong relationship with the community. A lot of that comes with communication. We establish that by meetings and presentations. Just as tonight, you know, we have an opportunity to meet some of you out here tonight. Driving through the communities, we have an opportunity to meet people and to learn what the community issues are and problems, and then work with the community directly to try to come up with solutions for it. Again, whether HOAs in neighborhoods, some of them are actual homeowners associations, some of them are neighborhood associations. We work with both. Just because you may not be an official HOA doesn't mean we're not going to address any of your issues the same way. Businesses, we interact with businesses sometimes just because of businesses will call us with complaints, like maybe graffiti or theft or something like that. But as we have time, we try to drive around and meet some of those business owners and then come up with solutions for maybe theft and stuff like that. And then churches, same thing. We try to meet with our chaplains, and they come out and they try to help us with any issues that we have. And in return, we try to watch out for their properties and make sure that they're safe as well. And then the schools, the same thing. You probably hear a bunch of school stuff back and forth, but you know, we really rely on them. I personally was working with Johnson High School with the school police up there to find out some of the problems that they're having with some of their kids, and then, you know, when those kids graduate, they come out to us. So we try to stay in connection with each other just to make sure that we're working on the same problems. All right, and I'll pass it off to Officer Keith.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Officer Keogh. I'm the old guy here. I've been on the department for 28 years. I've been in SAFE for 20 of those years. It's been a great job. I've really enjoyed it. I've got to a lot of different things. We do tons of different activities. In Blue Santa, for years and years, I coordinated the Blue Santa program. That's where we get together with families that don't have any money for their children for Christmas, and with awesome organizations and groups and different members. They donate some stuff to us, which we in turn get back to these kids who aren't going to get anything for Christmas. That one's super near and dear to my heart. We also, during Thanksgiving for the Humanis Dinner, it's a huge operation downtown. We go, we provide security, we get to mingle with people, and we get to eat too, so it's kind of pretty cool. In February, we had Martin Luther King, or January, we had the Martin Luther King March. That's always an awesome celebration. I believe it's the largest one in the United States. It takes a lot of policemen to coordinate all that, shut off intersections, make sure everybody gets one more time. We've also been, the last couple of years, dealing a lot with the Special Olympics, which is another super cool deal. We get to actually get together with the kids, help them do what they need to be done, talk to them. Awesome experience. You know, and sometimes lots of different parades. We help with that kind of stuff. Different community resources and fairs and whatnot. When the weather's nice, we're kind of fair weathered, but when the weather's nice, we get on our bicycles and get out in the communities where we can actually engage the citizens a lot easier than with the car running with the windows down. And about, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, we got some ATVs, so we can actually get out into the wilderness. I think it was about 6 months ago, there was a missing child, and we jumped on our ATVs and went out there and looked for them and whatnot. But lots of different things we do. I even made the picture over here. I've been around a long time. I'm going to be quiet. I'll give it to Officer Pena.
How's everybody doing? I'm Officer Pena. Been on for 10 years. Been on the SAFE unit for about a year and a half. I have the pleasure of dealing with Bud Little. You know, he calls me all the time. No, I'm kidding, he doesn't. He calls me just to see how I'm doing, which I enjoy. We just talked about some of the, we have 12 districts in the northeast. You met some of the guys. So zone 1, like Officer Bass was saying, you have Warsbach, Wetmore, Jones Mossberger, the Officer Bass area. You have Officer Sonny Kretzer, who's new to our unit, who's got North N2, Section 2, which is Jones Mossberger, east to 281 up to 1604, and then Nakoma is the southern border. You have Patrick DeRozier. Sorry, I want to say DeRozier. It's DeRozier. Sorry. He's also one of our new officers, but all these guys are fitting in pretty well with our unit and helping out a lot. He's got a busy area also, Section 3, which is 410 is the southern border, all the way up to Bitters, and Lock Hill, Selma, kind of northwest military area is his eastern border, and 281 is his western border. You have Officer Sampson, Neil Sampson, who's his partner, who's, like he said, is 410 is his northern border, southern border is all the way down to pretty much Basse, and then you have a little bit over by Vance Jackson, and 281's his eastern border. We have Officer Arturo Castellano, who's one of our new officers as well, who just took over Section 5, which is pretty much kind of the Alamo Heights area, Austin Highway area. And then you have me, Zone 6, which is a pretty busy area, but you know, we take care of it. Wetmore is my western, all the way to 35. Thousand Oaks is my northern, and 410 is my southern border. Officer Keogh, the old timer, he's got Section 7. That's where we learn everything. We learned it from Officer Keogh. He's kind of buddied up with me, so we kind of work together with our area. Officer Richard Grant, who's got the Madison High School area, like he said earlier. Officer Hermano Huerta, who is my partner, but he's out right now. He's got like Stall, O'Connor, 1604, and Nacogdoches area. And then we have Officer Freeman also, who's got the northern border up there by Section 10, Zone 10. And then Section 11 is open right now. We lost Officer Solis to our PIO media. So he's up, if you see him, go see him on TV all the time now. He's up there. And then we have Officer Rodriguez, who's got the western border of Stone Oak all the way to, I believe that's Heidner area. So those are our areas we interviewed today for some new positions. So hopefully we get some more officers on our unit to help us out with some of these gaps that are being missed. Pass it on to Officer Castellano.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Officer Arturo Castellanos. I'm going on 18. Sorry. I'm going on 18 years of service with our department, our great department at that. I just came from our training academy. I was an instructor there, one of the driving instructors. I really appreciated that time there. And I am one of the 2 new guys that came in January. What I do want to say is that it does take a team to find success through problem solving, right? What we ask for there is time, patience, and compassion when we're trying to deal with all aspects of the community that we sometimes feel is the problem. Sometimes it's just people falling on bad luck. So we'll deal with problem solving such as criminal activities, neighbor disputes, homeless issues, traffic complaints, and long-term problems. And that's the key. Some of these problems can take time. You know, we're dealing with one from the middle of last year in regards to a home that's housing people that are in need. My job or our job is to get to know who that person is first, try to see what's making them tick, what problems, addressing those problems, making them aware of what the community thinks about the things that they're bringing up to them of concern, and then work from there. Reach out to resources like we talked about with Department of Healthcare Services, our enforcers, in that aspect towards code. So sometimes it takes a lot of parts to make something successful, but the biggest one is just an understanding. And we can always advise you of where we're at with that mission, because working together, that's what brings success to our program.
The
Hello, good evening, and thank you for having us out here. I'm Officer Schneider. I've been with the department for over 19 years, and I've been in this unit for 11 years. My topic here is going to be crime prevention. That's a large one, right? That's a large one we can work on. But what we do is we work in conjunction with, actually it used to be National Night Out. Now we've changed it. It's actually San Antonio Neighborhoods Together, the NNO, which will be coming up in October, right? October. Then we also have McGruff. We have an informal home security surveys. We have Citizens on Patrol, safety presentation, active shooter training, and we also do safety fairs. We do career and also safety fairs within our department. So I'm going to turn it over to Officer Aguero. Thank you all very much for having us here tonight. Short. Mine was short.
I'm Officer Aguero. I've been a policeman for about 20 years. I've been on the unit for about 4. I'm taking over for Officer Keogh. So I am, or he was, what was our school services officer, so that's me. My job's a little different from everybody else's. I don't have neighborhoods assigned to me. I have all the NAISD schools, any private schools, basically any school that reaches out to me. I handle things like their bike rodeos for the elementary school kids. We do career days, and we'll do that for elementary, middle, or high school. We have stranger danger presentations, McGruff, so I'm lucky. I get to drag my partner, Officer Grant, with me. He loves being McGruff. It's a non-speaking role, so he's really good at it. Hot in that suit, I hear, but the kids love it. So we have our public safety course, which Officer Schneider runs, and then we have our police athletic league. So a lot of these the goal is to reach out to children while they're still young, to be their first positive interaction with police officers, because they may not be seeing in the media or hearing it at home, but may have bad situations where they don't see us on happy times. So I get to reach out with them when they're real little. I'm all about stickers. I ask them, I have stickers, coloring books, I do it all. I'm the touchy-feely, sunshine yay stuff. So I deal with all the kiddos, love my job. Officer Keogh wants it back, but he can't have it back. So.
Good evening again, Officer DeRosiers. So when we're not helping out schools, when we're not doing presentations, when we're not helping each other problem solving, when we're not out in the community, then when we have those free moments, we get to help our follow-up units. So not just within our own department. You know, a lot of times we'll get emails, or actually sometimes spur of the moments, we'll get a message over the radio, hey, can anyone switch over, help Rope with this knockdown? They always need that uniform police presence. And so that's where we're able, with that flexibility, to kind of jump in and help them out as needed. Other departments that we help out throughout the city, Department of Human Services is probably the main one that we work with, primarily with our homeless outreach. Anytime that we come in contact with the homeless camp, we're trying to end that cycle of homelessness. That way it's not just the shell game of, okay, we found you here, now where are you gonna move to next time? But actually trying to diminish that, so that way they can get the assistance that they need. Code enforcement is huge with us. We have our dark warrants for problem houses or problem business locations that sometimes need addressing. And when it comes to the civil enforcement, we have technically no authority on that, but that's where code compliance really comes into play and helps us out with that. And then also outside agencies sometimes utilize us, again, since we have that flexibility to change our hours as needed for our communities. When they need that, we're usually the ones that answer that call. So.
Last one. We appreciate you all's time again tonight. I know, as you can see, going through this presentation, the SAFE officers have a huge responsibility, right? There's a lot of different hats that we wear on the department and in the community, but the most common theme as we went through this presentation tonight was what? Community. Community is key to our success. So y'all being out here tonight, we appreciate it. This is what we want to come out here and see this. This is how we thrive. So again, we're focused, Community Policing Unit, with the relationship with you, all right? So how do we do that? We need to get to know your SAFE officers. We have 10 of them here tonight, along with Sergeant Bender and I. There's several that weren't able to make it tonight, vacations and whatnot. But please get to know your SAFE officers. Again, those long-term problems are our mission. That's our primary mission, to get out there and help you guys with those long-term issues in the community, try to solve those, and of course the quality of life issues are big. Two-way communication. We can't be successful without that two-way communication. So how do you contact your SAFE officer? Tonight, after the presentation, if you have any direct questions for the SAFE officers in attendance tonight, they'll be in the back and you can ask them there. There's also a phone number here at the bottom. That's our main line. If you want to take that down, take a picture of it. contact your safe officer. If you don't know who, you call us, and we'll make sure you get in touch with the right person, okay? So again, if you have any questions, we'll be in the back for those. Right now, I want to pass it off to our Deputy Chief Hightower. He's here tonight. He's got a couple words to say from the chief.
So let me introduce myself. My name is Eric Hightower, and as of March 5th, I am the newly promoted Deputy Chief for Traffic and Special Operations. So not over SAFE. I'm not even here to talk about SAFE, but I will say this on behalf of SAFE. I'm particularly fond and very affectionate of this particular SAFE unit because I was actually a member of that SAFE unit many, many years ago. I have 27 years on now, and my first several years was with that SAFE unit. In fact, I trained Mr. Bud Little in COP training about 18 years ago.
You did a good job.
And you're still here. You're still here. That's what's amazing, is he is still here and still part of the program and still active in the community. And that's really what it's about. With the law enforcement, with our department, we cannot be successful unless you participate as citizens, so we thank you. I'm here actually to represent the chief. We have 6 deputy chiefs on the police department. So each deputy chief is assigned to a substation to be able to make HOAs and presentations and such on his behalf. As you can well imagine, he is in 1,000 places at once. He cannot make every single meeting that is on the calendar and the agenda, so he's subdivided those out to the deputy chiefs. And so although I'm not assigned to patrol or to SAFE, I am assigned to the North Service area in the sense that I'm here as a representative for him, and to basically communicate to you his concern for you, for the issues affecting the North Service area, and also communicate back to him things that are brought up at various times of the meeting. I'll address just a couple of things on behalf of the chief that he'd like to express. 2 particular initiatives that he is presently working on, dealing with problems in community. One is dealing with violent crime, and the other one is dealing with quality of life. Dealing with violent crime, we are currently working on an initiative called the micro hotspots. And the North Service area has 3 of them, 3 micro hotspots. This is data driven, so it is, as best we can, evidence based. We pull data from crime reports and from any time someone calls 911 and reports, you know, I heard gunshots, or I heard, you know, this happened or that happened. If it falls in the violent crime category, then it goes into a database, and anywhere those start to pool and create a hotspot, then we target that area with additional resources, SAFE being part of those resources. SOU, which actually falls under my division, also comes out and assists, and we saturate those areas for anywhere from 30 days at a minimum to 90 days, and then we reevaluate to see if we have dealt with any of those problems that may exist in that area. And we're seeing great success. This is a program that is being utilized around the country, and other major cities. Dallas has implemented, and they've seen some pretty dramatic reductions in violent crime. We've now implemented it here since January, and we're seeing a good success with it so far. It's still a little early in the program to truly be able to determine what adjustments need to be made, but the chief is very active in trying to ensure that all types of violent crime are being addressed, and that's one of the ways we're doing it. Secondly is quality of life issues. Panhandling and homelessness seems to be on the rise, and it seems to be that way everywhere in the United States, and of course here as well. You stop at any intersection at a red light, and someone's probably standing there holding a sign asking for money. As you well know, homelessness in and of itself is not a crime, and it's not something that someone can be arrested for. But that being said, we do have a panhandling initiative that we are presently working, and that is for the patrol division. SAFE, of course, assists with that, but this one is primarily based in the patrol division, and they are responsible, every district officer, and department-wide, we have 119 districts, so every single district officer, all 4 shifts, so 119 times 4, is responsible for an identified hotspot in that particular district that is that has a high volume of panhandlers in that area. And they're required to go through that intersection a minimum of once per shift, and if there are panhandlers in that area, to identify them, to let them know that they're not allowed to be standing there, they're not allowed to be asking for money. And at least from that level of enforcement, we are hoping that will begin to help ease some of that pressure that they are putting on the motorists when you drive up into those intersections. So you may see an increase in just those marked patrol cars at those intersections, stopping, talking to those individuals. We're also doing everything we can to refer them to services. And there's a ton of services available, and we're doing all that we can to make sure that we refer them if they would like those services, make sure that they get them. So, again, on behalf of Chief McManus, that's why I'm here this evening. I celebrate all that they do, and I'm very proud of all that they do, having been part of them, but I'm also here to represent the chief. Is there anything that you want to bring to my attention to bring back to him? And then I won't necessarily have an answer for you, but I can at least bring it back to him, and then I'll very quickly pass it back to the councilman.
I've said it to him personally, I'll say it to you personally. Any attempt to defund SAFE. Where's Walsh?
He's right there.
There he is.
You're getting old, buddy. I'm gonna sit next to you next time.
Any attempt to defund SAFE, you have to round up Bud.
Point to someone else. Point to someone else.
Now, I will say in Mr. Walsh's defense, they actually added 12 SAFE officers in the last budget cycle. Every single SAFE unit got an additional 2 officers, and we've already put them to work, and they're doing a bang-up job. They're doing.
Have you replaced?
Indeed. It's a great program. Great program. I actually joined the department the year SAFE was established under Chief Philippus way back in '94, and it's been just a steady program ever since. It's been truly an amazing program in what it tries to accomplish. Without doubt. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You talk about taking services, presenting people with services that are homeless or panhandling, but yet when I drive around my general area, 1604 to 81, around here, in the usual places, there's always someone there panhandling. It never goes away. Are they just replaced by one person? Once they leave, someone else takes their spot? It never goes away.
Sure. I don't have.
Can you repeat that question
For those who may not have heard it, so we refer an individual. Maybe it is that we refer them to services, and they accept our offer for services, or in some circumstances we have to arrest them. They may have a warrant, or they're committing some type of illegal activity. It seems like the very next moment someone else is there. Is that the summation of your question?
Right.
Okay. So I don't have data to tell you what the food chain is, why it seems like they're just continually, the next person and the next person and the next person is continually there. What I can tell you is that the services that we offer to them are there, they're made available continually, and when they want to take advantage of them, we make it available to them absolutely all the time.
But you can't force them.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I believe Mr. Walsh is walking up, and he's my boss's boss, so I better let him speak too.
I was just gonna say that they're there at that corner because people give them money, right? Whether you are at Southeast Military in Goliad or 1604 in Blanco. Those intersections, they can't be arrested unless they're in the middle of the traffic, the median traffic. They're there because people give them money. And so, you know, I would venture to say that the department, the police department, pre-COVID, looked at who was panhandling. Most of those people weren't homeless. They're not homeless. They're making money. So there are other ways for people to get connected, and that's why the SAFE officers, the patrol officers are trying to get those folks connected. But many times they're there because people give them money.
The panhandler I spoke to last week, not homeless, I asked him, why do you always keep coming here? He says it makes $50 to $100 an hour.
All right, great. Well, let me tell you, I am so proud of this unit, and folks that have been here before, I'm not telling you to, but I would like to see a standing ovation for this group of officers. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I really appreciated the format tonight where all of them got up to speak so that you could see and hear from each one of them. And, okay, all right. So, Yeah, I really appreciate everything that y'all are doing, and I know we'll continue to do for us here in District 10. So thank y'all very much, and Mr. Walsh, thank you for your comments on that also. All right, let's, great, thank you. Let's call up Clayton, number 1, and he can talk a little bit about TxDOT. And we do have the big cheese here tonight, Gina Gallegos. She's the regional manager around for TxDOT here, which includes San Antonio here. So Clayton, come on up and tell us a little bit about your projects.
All right. Appreciate the opportunity, Councilman. It's good to be able to get out and kind of bring you up to speed on things that are happening in District 10. So the focus here of this presentation, just to kind of walk through some of the big projects that are either under construction right now or in the pipeline, if you will, that'll be coming out. A lot of the projects I'm talking about, you can go out and go to our website and find more information. You can find renderings or 3D visuals of these things, like looks like a little movie where you can see it, because I'm going to do a very bad job explaining it with my hands and stuff. It's not going to work well. But Google it, you'll be able to find it. There's a lot of good information out there. Okay, can you hear me now? All right, there we go. That's what this thing does, okay. All right, so kind of give you an overview of the San Antonio district. So if you see Bexar County in the middle and imagine the other 11 counties, this is the purview. So when they mention Ms. Gallegos, she oversees all the functions of all the state highways in this 12-county boundary, which is maintaining those roads, building them, construction, the construction, operating them, like the traffic signals, and kind of oversees the design to get those roadways out to construction. So that's kind of her purview. What I'm in charge of is kind of on the design side, or getting a project from a drawing on a napkin, finding funding for it, and getting it designed to turn it over to construction. And that's when my counterpart back here, Leah Jacobson, Leah, wave real big. There's Leah. So all the construction that you're driving through, all those orange barrels, it's all her fault. If you have any questions about when stuff's going to be done, she will give you a better answer than I can. But so that's kind of where, that's kind of the way we're broken up. And then we have a third counterpart, if you will, that's over all the maintenance. So it's kind of, those are the big 3 functions that we really do. So kind of want to kind of cover that. Each year, our maintenance budget is about $200 million. So it's about $200 million spread amongst these 12 counties. Our construction budget, which is the money that goes into actually building new jobs every year, it's about $700 million. That'll range to $700 million to $1 billion, depending on the years and the money that we're able to get from other areas of the state as we compete for funds. And then right now we have roughly $2.5 billion under construction. So all those orange barrels you're driving through, you can feel that. I promise you, you can feel that. So what I'm going to touch on are all the projects here that kind of either are within or cross through District 10. So this is probably the biggest one that's out there. This is IH-35. So you can kind of see the map on the left, kind of highlighted in red as 35 as it starts from just outside of downtown. So that's kind of picking up down there past Bamsey. Continues on up past Windcrest, all the way up to FM 1103. So it kind of gets you all the way up in the Church-Cibolo area. So this project altogether is about $3 billion. So what we've been doing over the past, going on almost 8 years, trying to get it designed, get it kind of ready, went through the environmental process, and work to secure the funding for it. So I'm going to start breaking down bits and pieces of it that are funded and where we're at kind of process-wise, if you will. On the bottom is kind of what we call our typical section. So that's like if you took a knife and sliced it like a loaf of bread and you kind of looked at it from the side. So today on 35, generally you have either 6 lanes or 4 lanes on the main lanes, or 8 lanes on the main lanes in each direction. What this project does is what's on the bottom. It builds elevated lanes down kind of in the middle. It adds 2 lanes and an HOV lane in each direction, elevated. So that's kind of what will be happening along this stretch generally. It changes, I won't get into the details of what happens for each little project or sub-project, but we do have it broken up into 3 projects. Down on the bottom in the purple, you see south. So anytime on our website, or if you follow Jennifer, we have Jennifer here with our PIO office. So if you haven't met her or seen her, she can give you contact info, so you can follow her on updates on construction and closures and stuff. And so she's a good resource for updates on these projects and the nomenclature. So the south is one project, and it's funded. The next one is the blue and the central. I'll kind of go to the detail slide on that in a minute. And that one is fully funded, and you're gonna start seeing dirt turning on that this summer. So that one's gonna be blowing and going here before long. And then the top, the north and the yellow is not funded. So that one, we're working on the design for it, but it's just not funded yet at this point in time. So first I'll start up on the north. So this piece is up there basically from 3009 up to 1103. You kind of, if you drive in that area every evening in the morning, it's pretty rough. Friday nights, Saturday during the day, it's pretty rough. A lot of traffic going between New Braunfels and San Antonio. So we know there's a need. We're working to get it ready. It's just we haven't secured all the funding for it at this point in time. Right now, that project is a $422 million project. We have $153 million identified for it, the funds already. So we just got to close that gap. So remember I said the whole project, the whole stretch is $3 billion, to where our only gap is a little over $250 million left. It's a pretty good, it's a pretty small piece of what's left to kind of move forward with. Now, as we kind of move on that next piece, what I call central, what highlighted in the blue, this is where you're going to see construction this summer. If you've driven this stretch between kind of Windcrest up there towards the Creek Bridge or at 1518 and through the 09 area, you've seen rigs out there closing some of the lanes on the frontage road and out there drilling. So they're doing exploratory work. So this contractor is a unique, we call it a design build, which means we awarded them a contract and they start kind of building the plans, designing the plans as they're starting to build it. So this is kind of a way to get the construction started sooner, and there's incentives for them to get done sooner rather than later. So you will see construction on this really, really soon. And the price tag on this is $1.6 billion. So this is a real big, expensive piece of that whole stretch of 35. And as we move down south, this is called the south piece. So this is about from Windcrest area, from 410 over by Cowboys Dance Hall, kind of down to AT&T Parkway. So this project is fully funded. But we have 3 subsets. It's kind of broken off in a couple little pieces. But when you're driving through it, you won't notice that there are actually 3 different pieces or 3 different contractors out there. That's more of just kind of those minor details. But that one, again, is fully funded. The first phase from about Windcrest down to BAMC will go out in 2023. So the summer of 2023, the fall, you'll see some action going on out there. The objective of all 3 of these pieces, when I started at north, central, and south, is to get everything done by 2029. So that's the goal. The goal, no matter when these start, we're still trying to put incentives, we're trying to get the design ready, to where 2029, you've got a complete section of 35, all the way done up to 1103. Now we'll kind of hop over on the west side of the district on US 281. So if you haven't been out on US 281 since before construction started and out there now, it's a full freeway there from 1604 going out towards almost Marshall Road. Then yeah, you get to Marshall Road and then you sit at one of the classic intersections. But it's painful now, it'll get better. It'll get better. So the first piece is done, just up to Marshall. The next piece is under construction. There's still what, like a year on it? About a year of construction left, and then after that, you'll have a full freeway all the way up to Borgfeld Road to the county line. So that project, 281, has a long sordid history, but it took us 20 years to get through it, through all the environmental stuff, through the toll road stuff, and all that kind of, as we meandered on, we were able to finally secure the funding for it and get it out the door. Now Loop 1604. So the stretch of Loop 1604, if you've driven west of here, you've driven through it seems like endless miles of construction. And you did, you drove through endless miles of construction. So on the left side, basically the stretch starts at Bandera Road on the west side of the city and continues all the way across the 35. Now I'll break down that not all this is funded, only bits and pieces of it are, and I'll try to identify where and how our plan is to try to get the rest of it funded and under construction as well. So the price tag for this whole stretch is $1 billion. So it's about $1 billion to expand this. 1604 is a 4-lane divided. We have that grassy median. The plan here is basically closing that median in, if you will, to where you end up with 10 lanes, 5 lanes each direction. One of those lanes on the inside will be an HOV lane, a high occupancy vehicle lane. You know, it kind of makes a connection there at I-10 where you already have one open, and then 281 has one as well. So I'll kind of focus on the pieces of that Loop 1604, as you can see highlighted in red, that are within or around District 10 here. So this one piece that I'm going to talk about is about 281 over to Redland Road. So it's right where all the pieces that's under construction will stop, but this segment is not funded at this time. But we are right now working on actively by September to secure the funding for that. So that will continue the work that's going on over to Redland Road. So in the background, what we're doing is we are working on the plans. So we're getting the plans ready and sitting them on the shelf saying, hey, when the funding comes available, there's an opportunity to get it in there. So then 2024 is when it'll be ready to go out to construction once we hopefully secure that funding in September. So those are the things you kind of work behind the scenes. It's kind of like playing a game, getting ready to where when that funding is available, you go out there and snatch it up. The next piece is picking up from Redland Road to Judson Road. That's $150 million. Right now, that one is not funded. But again, behind the scenes, we're getting the plans ready to where, hey, in 2025, if we can secure the funding, there's an opportunity, our plans will be ready, it's environmentally cleared, we're ready to hit the road, hit the ground running. So you see, we're trying to methodically make our way all the way through this area over to 35. And the last unfunded piece is from Judson Road over to IH-35. This will tie in to the 35 construction that I showed you a while ago. So everything that's being built there will not be tore out. It all matches. So we made sure that one project doesn't tear out anything the other one's doing. They're going to line up and match each other as they kind of come in. We're going to have to make this faster? Yeah. Well, here's the summary. Here's the summary. So basically starting from Bandera Road with all the segments coming across. Segment 1, if you're driving that construction, it'll be done in 2024. Segment 2, which is the interchange at I-10, that will go out to construction hopefully by later this year, in that FY 2022, and it'll be done by 2027. It's fully funded. Segment 3, all the way to 281, will be done by 2025, and the rest remaining unfunded segments will be coming. With that,
yeah,
I'm going to wrap it up.
All right, great. Thank you, Clayton. Thank you for this presentation. We'll have these slides up for you on either on my website or Facebook page where you can download them and take a closer look at them. And did we have a phone number, or is there a phone number where folks can get in touch with y'all if they have any questions? Was that on any of the slides here? Or can you just say it at this point? What's a good phone number? 210-262-9348. Okay, great. And we'll have that information available also. The reason I want to keep moving on here because we've got another very important portion here. Running a little late here. Councilman Gallagher is looking at his watch over there. But the upcoming bond. So who's going to talk to us about the upcoming bond? Rozzy? Eric? All right. Well, let's give it up to Eric. All right.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening. So, are you going to run the slides? Or I got it ready, okay. All right, so, do I need to stand in a certain spot? Are you televising?
You're fine right there. You're fine right there.
Don't move, okay. All right, so yeah, it's bond time. A little bit of background for those of you, like Mr. Little, who have been around a while, know that the city takes to the voters every 5 years a municipal bond program. Last time we went to the voters was in 2017. And so for the last year or so, we have been working on, over a year, we have been working on the proposal that will be before the voters this May, on May 7th. So let me walk through. All right, sorry. Can everybody hear me in the back?
Yes.
All right, so let me cover a couple of the highlights of the program and then we'll walk through it. So you'll see this on a slide here in a second, but 53% of our $1.2 billion bond program is in basic infrastructure. Streets, sidewalks, drainage. We have 21 additional miles planned for our Creekway Greenway system. We have $15.7 million for public art, and I'll talk a little bit about public art a little bit later. But that is equivalent to about 1.5% of the value of the bond program that we've got included. 30% of the city's parks will see some level of improvement or enhancement to the infrastructure, and we'll also be creating 9 new city parks. For those of you that haven't seen it, we've got this guide that walks through all 183 projects. If you don't have it, grab it on the way out. It is also available online. We also have $150 million, first time ever, really as a result of a change to the city charter that the voters approved last May, $150 million in affordable housing aspects. And I'll talk a little bit about that in the presentation, but the 3 main focus areas of that will be improving existing facilities, existing homes, so people stay in their home. It's cheaper in the long run for people to stay in their own homes. There's some new build, new housing in that proposal. And then the third big category is what I would call permanent supportive housing. Whether you are a senior or domestic violence survivor with family members, or you are homeless or on the verge of becoming homeless, that permanent supportive housing that gives people an opportunity to stay housed. We have $68 million in renovations of city facilities, and I'll talk about that in a second, and $65 million in new facilities. Really 4 main facilities under the public safety aspect. We're going to replace 2 fire stations. One is over 100 years old. The floor is collapsing because it was built and constructed originally for horses, not a big fire truck. And we're going to be building a new police substation on the southeast side of town. I don't want to make you feel any older, Mr. Little, but the last time we built a substation, I just graduated from high school, so it's been a while. And so it's probably time to improve the facilities for the police department. We're also going to be leveraging almost $270 million in other funding sources to match the $1.2 billion that's before the voters. So, you hear the president or Congress talk about the infrastructure bill. This is our infrastructure plan for San Antonio. It's how we're going to maintain and build new for the next 5 years. We have $6 billion worth of infrastructure need. And so a lot of the decision making and conversation that Councilman Perry had with his colleagues, as well as $1.2 billion is by far the largest bond program we've ever done as a city. But with $6 billion worth of need, when you look at all the street needs, the drainage needs, the parks needs, the facility needs, this is our infrastructure plan, and this is what we're working on over the next 5 years. As part of our analysis, as staff analysis last summer, as we updated our debt plan, one of our major assumptions that we look at is what can we afford? And our recommendation to the council was $1.2 billion with our existing tax rate. Mr. Austin, I know, and I'll get a question from you. Our assumption is that we issue the debt that we can afford with our existing tax rate, with no change in the tax rate. We've been doing that for the last 20 years, and it is a cornerstone of what we project. That is unlike a lot of other taxing entities and a lot of other cities in this state. And then the vote will be before you on May 7th. So, high level, how long do I have, Councilman?
About another minute.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. This is important.
All right, okay, good. I'm not going to rush it then. So, just high level, and I just talked a little bit about this, but we started at the city back in October of 2020, fall of 2020. When you look at the mayor and the council, the 11 individuals that are there, there's only one person that was there when we went through the 2017 bond program, and it's the mayor, and he was a council person. So whether you're a veteran council member like Councilman Perry, or a new council member that was elected last June, everybody was going through the bond program together. And we had 6 meetings in the fall with the council to go through projects, make sure that we're aligning with what the council's priorities were. We worked with each council district. Before I go any further, Razi Husseini right here, our Director of Public Works, and Homer Garcia, our Director of Parks in the back, 2 of the biggest players in terms of infrastructure. We looked at, from a staff perspective, what needs to be improved, what needs to be replaced, and made those recommendations to the council. The council members also are hearing from neighborhoods. They're also hearing about the things that are perennial issues that we have in the neighborhoods. Then we transition to the public part of this, and I'll tell you that we have, in this bond program, have probably had more community input in terms of the selection of the final projects in that folder that you have. From October to December, we had 5 committees of 32. Each council member appointed 3 individuals from their district to sit on each committee, and the mayor appointed the co-chair. So we had 32 members per committee. We had a streets committee, a drainage committee, a parks committee, a housing committee, and a facilities committee. Now, who's ever sat on a committee of 32 when it comes time to figuring out what you do with a bunch of money? Right, that's why I have gray in my beard right now. But it was a good process. They recommended, we had public to go speak to those groups. And at the end of the day, those committees voted to make changes. They pulled projects out, they added projects in, they moved money across projects. And we brought those recommendations to the council on January 12th of this year. About almost $45 million worth of changes. And I'll say that the council conversation on January 12th and on the subsequent February discussion when they called for the election, the council did not make one change to the citizens and their recommendations. And I think that there was probably some consideration that actually some council members said at the dais, they didn't quite completely agree, but I think everybody respected the fact that 163 people spent 2 months with the city at the convention center, really going through the detail and being thoughtful about that recommendation back to the council. So here's how the breakout is on the propositions. And let me say that under state law, we have to break out public safety facilities from all other facilities. So that's why you'll see it on a different proposition. But we have $472 million in streets, that's 62 projects, $272 million in parks and recreation, 82 projects, $170 million for 23 projects. We're categorizing the affordable housing as one project, but there are different aspects. What the council is going to have to do, what we'll have to do if approved by the voters, is we'll have to go through solicitations and ask for offers on how to spend that money. And each one of those will go to council for approval. So we're going to be doing that a little bit differently than a street reconstruction or a drainage channel. We have 6 projects under public safety facilities for $78 million, and then 9 projects for $58 million for some library rehab and other city facilities that we've not done a good job of maintaining over the years. This is just another way to look at the breakout on a pie chart. Again, you'll see that the 53% is made up of the drainage and streets category. So one of the conversations that we had early on with the council was how do we categorize projects? And in 2017, we categorized a whole slew of projects as citywide projects. And does anybody remember some of the contention around that? Mr. Little, do you remember the contention around citywide projects?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. Okay.
I don't remember his name.
So we took things like in the 2017 bond program, like the like the Hartberger Bridge. And we said that was a citywide project. This time we were very intentional. A citywide project is like bike lanes that we can put anywhere in the city. It is like our bridge maintenance that could happen anywhere in the city. One of the things the council talked about was making sure we were focused on district projects. Projects in the council districts, whether they're parks or streets or drainage. And you'll see that 153 of the 183 projects are all district-based. Linear Greenway Trails, $103 million of that $272 million in the Parks Bond proposal is for those 21 miles. Now, for those of you who know that the Linear Creek system in San Antonio has been hugely popular as it's gone back to the voters to renew the sales tax, going on almost 20 years now, but we're not done. And when the council decided to move, provide to the voters the option to move that sales tax increment for 5 years to our Ready to Work program, and then after that, beginning in January 26, to VIA, we needed to come up with another source to finish the work. We have proposed that in the bond program. It will also require a pretty sizable investment in the 2027 bond program. And you'll see here in a couple of slides that Bexar County is also putting $84 million. And that's making sure that the entire Salado, the entire Leon Creek, all the West Side creeks, the Medina River Trail system, all those are interconnected. And so that's why it's critical as we continue to make that improvement. We also have a new category called regional, and most of you probably know we have our city's master plan, SA Tomorrow plan, identified 13 regions in the city that were centers of employment, housing, transportation, these main nodes spread out all over the city. And there are areas like the medical center, Port SA, the 281 airport area, and we've done the plans for 6 of those 13 areas, but we're trying to be intentional here and actually make infrastructure improvements in those areas. And we've gone through the effort to identify them several years ago as those areas where we need to have more investment, whether it's transportation, housing, or employment. This is making the infrastructure investment in those 13 areas. And that's a new category. So I mentioned this a second ago, and as we went through this process with $6 billion worth of need, we knew we were going to obviously have priorities that we needed to fund in other ways. So we're using $13.8 million from our American Rescue Plan Act dollars to add to our F streets, and $10 million. Our F streets, does anybody know what an F street? What's that?
What do you mean by
Well,
that?
I was just gonna ask, who knows what an F street is? A failed street, right? We grade every street every year, and we have F streets. How the city has fixed those streets is we've used our annual maintenance money. And so we went back and looked, and out of our $110 million that we spend annually on street maintenance, we were using between $20 and $25 million to reconstruct a street. We weren't doing crack seal, we weren't doing minor maintenance work, we were reconstructing streets. And so the idea was, let's do $100 million worth of F Street reconstruction in our bond program, and then the council can decide this summer, if this is approved by voters, do we need to, we can do more street maintenance with the same amount of money we have in the budget. And they'll likely have that policy conversation as we get into the budget for 23. But we added $10 million from our ARPA to do additional F streets, and then we're going to do additional bridge maintenance. We have $10.8 million from TxDOT for the Enrique Barrera West Street project. I mentioned Bexar County. Bexar County has the majority of that is in additional Linear Creekway work, and then some drainage work in District 7. We're utilizing some of the city's tax increment refinance zones, which were created to help improve the infrastructure in these zones. But at the end of the day, it's city money. And so we used the Houston Street TERS, which is downtown, to do any street work that we proposed in the bond program. Rather than put it in the bond program, use the TERS. We wanted to focus on district projects in the bond program. And then the last category here, almost $38 million out of our regular stormwater annual budget. And Razi and his team, last year we went through the budget in preparation for the bond program. We knew we were going to have a lot more drainage needs than we could afford. Every 5 years, we're required to submit to FEMA what's called a hazard mitigation plan. And it's essentially a plan that a municipality or county's got to list everything that's a hazard in the city. And they keep it on record because if we ever have an emergency, before they reimburse us, they're going to go look at our report and say, did they identify that as a hazard? Well, the number one hazard in San Antonio is flooding and flash flooding and low water crossings. And we have $660 million worth of low water crossing drainage projects that we need to do. And so we took about $40 million in our existing stormwater budget, and we're adding that to the $170 million we have in the bond program. So we'll have almost $210 million worth of drainage projects over the next 5 years. So let me talk a little bit about District 10. So the 2017 bond program had 17 projects, a total of $51.2 million, and the 2022 bond program has 16 projects for a total of $70.2 million. And I've got a couple of slides on what those projects are. Again, the detail behind these projects is in that bond brochure. But big projects like Boulevardy Road, Clausen Road, we have F Street reconstruction in District 10 of $11.7 million. Pedestrian mobility means sidewalks, new sidewalks, that's what that means. Jones-Maltzberger, this is a project that Councilman advocated strongly for. Razi, that project is about 20, how much is that to reconstruct Jones-Maltzberger? Okay, so to reconstruct Jones-Maltzberger is about $20 million. What we have in the bond program is the design work for that so that we can have the design in place. And then a big project in Topper One, $14.5 million. In drainage, one large project, the Eisenhower Northwood Devonshire area. And then we've got a smaller project in the Fox Head area. And then another design project there at North New Braunfels as it goes into Austin Highway. If you've ever been caught in that area, it's a little bit like a river. And that drainage project cost is
Over $20 million.
Over $20 million, and we will need to have ongoing conversations, frankly, with potentially TxDOT and Alamo Heights to possibly come up with a funding scheme for that drainage project, which would be a large drainage project for us. In terms of parks, you'll see here about $5.8 million worth of projects here. Bellmead, Comanche Lookout, Feather Ridge, Lady Bird, McAllister. Many times on our park projects, the scope is, if the voters approve it, there's a whole aspect of community engagement with the surrounding neighborhoods on what the improvements they're looking for within the park. And so we'll still have to go through that if the voters approve it. But these are the allocations we're setting aside for those parks. So these are just the dates. Early voting starts on April 25th, but Election Day is on May 7th. You know, if your neighborhood associations are looking for any other presentations between now and then from the city staff perspective, please let the councilman's office know, myself or the Parks Department or Public Works or Rod Sanchez, Assistant City Manager, who's back there in the back. We'd be more than happy to go to your neighborhood and be able to lay this out and answer any questions. So thank you, Councilman.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much, Eric. And the rest I'm sure they'll hang around here for a few minutes after this. But let me just quickly, because I know we're over time, Councilman Gallagher, I wanted to actually acknowledge that he's here tonight. And also our Representative Steve Allison is here this evening. I'm sure he'd like to speak with you as well. Okay, real quickly, what's coming up? We already talked about bond, that election and that coming up. But redistricting. Y'all should be interested in the redistricting process. And guess what? We're going to have 2 meetings here. One on April 23rd. That's going to be right here in this room. If you want to know if your area is up on the chopping block to be given to another district, be here. Make sure your voices are heard. The same thing on May 2nd. It's going to be at the Northeast Senior Center. A lot of y'all know where that's at. If you don't, it's right on Thousand Oaks there between Wetmore and Perrin Vital, so go listen to that as well. Tomorrow, does anybody know what tomorrow is?
Yes.
Yes. Fiesta! All right, I'm supposed to go Viva! Fiesta! All right, there you go. So District 10, we have a great time there every year. It's again at Catholic Life Building. And same place, same location. We're going to have entertainment. We're going to have food, just like we do every year. One bad piece of news. This was my unveiling of my medal. It's held up in customs. All of my medals, like 750 medals, are in customs. So I'm going to make sure that, either here or at my office, any place we can think of to distribute my medals, we'll have them available out there. And I just want to apologize that we couldn't get it through our own U.S. Customs for a little piece of metal and a ribbon on it to come here. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Good point. But anyway, come on out tomorrow. We'll have a great time. And don't let the weather bother you. Did it bother you today coming out here? No. Clear blue skies, and it's predicted that we'll have the same thing tomorrow. But knowing our weathermen, it'll probably rain. But no, come on out and help us enjoy that. We've got a ton of different city and county and regional agencies that are going to be there with handouts, giveaways, medals, all that kind of stuff. How many organizations, Landry?
19.
19 different organizations. They're going to have full display out there. Come out and enjoy it and ask them questions, ask them those hard questions. I think that's the major things that I wanted to talk about. Elections, everybody knows the elections going on right now. And then the Fiesta Party. If you want more information on it, I got my staff here. Staff, raise your hands. All right. And I'm going to stay here for a few minutes also. So, we got a drawing. We got a drawing here. Do we have any giveaways?
Yes, we have.
Okay, we got 4 giveaways. Yes, sir.
Do you want to let them know that we're starting the budget process early?
Oh yeah, we're starting the budget process in April coming up for this next year in FY23. Usually we didn't start that until May or June.
End of June.
End of June, but we're going to start it early. And I need your input on what you want to see here for your tax dollars that go into this city and how this city spends your tax dollars. So give me your input. I know what I'd like to see, but I need to know y'all's input also. Let's have some numbers here. This is for, let's see, does everybody have your tickets? This is the most important part of the evening here, folks. All right, here we go. First ticket, last 3 numbers, 847. 847, there we go. First winner. Let's keep this going, because Councilman Gallagher is getting antsy out there. Next one, 868. There we go. 2 on this side of the room. Where's the rest of y'all? Come on, let's get some tickets drawn here. 848. A lot of 8s. There we go. That's on that side of the room. All right, another one. 873.
873. All right.
873. There we go. All right. Got one more. Who's the lucky winner? The one more here. There we go. and it is 863. There we go. All right. Okay, yes, and I want to thank WellMed for some of these giveaways tonight, and thank y'all for coming out and talking about your services
I also
there.
want to thank the Veterans of America and their Hometown Heroes Project.
Okay, Hometown Heroes is back there for y'all to take a look at also. On deck, the board. All right, well that's kind of, unless y'all got any urgent issues for me, but I'll stick around here if y'all want to come talk to me. But thank y'all all for coming out tonight. Really appreciate y'all's participation. Talk to y'all later. Thank you.